All right, we are starting the hot takes. Welcome. I am Colby. I am Kodamaran. I am here for the Summer 2021 Online Tournament Elimination Round Hot Takes. I am joined by Mick, McRowry.
Ooh.
I am joined by Daniel Kiramode, and I am joined by Jim Kokros, and we are 4 of the 8 of the top cut, and I think we will have most, if not all, of the top cut popping in here and there. To talk about the lists. Let's talk about this card pool. Let's first talk about the bracket real quick. The thing that I want to bring up about this bracket is there are 5 New Yorkers and 3 Minnesotans.
This is the epic throwdown.
This is the cleanest crew battle I think we can assemble, considering that Tyler is washed.
Yeah, also keep in mind, I'm about as much of a Minnesotan as Rey Skywalker is a Skywalker. But we can somehow
reclaim you.
Yeah, whatever.
How long have you been here now?
And I'm in Florida now, but that's fine. Anyway, this is I'm excited for this tournament. This is the closest thing we're going to have to a throwdown and a crew battle. And I like how the matchups are all round 1 New York versus Minnesota. This could be straight knockouts.
We could go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. And we can go 1, 2, and then we're done. We can go 1.
No, I mean Minnesota can go gold, silver, bronze.
Okay, sure. They could also go They could also go 5 6 7 8. So okay. Card pool. This is an awful card pool, as I've been discussing with Jim. It is all of the cards and a new card. Daniel, tell me about the new card.
Yeah, so it's the coaxium objective. It's a money smoother, so it's a new affiliation card. You can duplicate it for all 6 affiliations, and what it does is you have a variable resource amount on the affiliation that can starts at 1 and can go up to 3, and that number is equal to the Death Star dial. And the idea behind it is just to make it so you can play a deck without resources. Now, there are penalties with it. So if you play it, all the resources inside of your deck that are not objectives, so like enhancements and characters, those get set to 0. Also, particularly if you're playing light side, you're not allowed to put cards into play from your deck. So Yoda You Seek Yoda becomes a dead card, as does Spark.
As does the Beezer event. As does flopping the Ewok or the DJ 3PO objective or superior numbers. I've got it on the screen. What's up, Xavier?
Yeah, they're sacrificial lands, right? Yeah. Like you have to be able to cut off Yoda and Spark with this objective, I think, or the affiliation. And I think that losing those other ones, while not great, is okay.
So, okay. A thing I had a lot of criticisms with this, especially with the turn off my camera. Especially with the card pool being completely unlocked. I had a lot of issues with this. I'm like, this is fine, this is dumb. I don't like the big card pool. I have had so much fun building in this nonsense game with this nonsense thing, and this is so balanced. The inability to, like, I want to play a 2-cost Bamboozle, but I've only got my Coaxium up. I wanna play Kraken and Screech in a deck, but they both are 3 drops. And if I want to play Kraken, then my yellow one can only play 2. Not being able to play Falcon in a 2-drop. This is so balanced. Oh, I want to play Yularen in my deck, but now I've got 2 dead cards. I want to play this, and I keep building decks, and I want Spark, and I remember that I've got a Coaxium. Daniel, bravo on this thing. I would love to hear if other people, like when we're talking about decks, have opinions on this, but this was really well made. It fits right in, and it's right on power level too. This I would love to see as a real, thing that happens more than just this tournament. This is a fantastic addition to the game.
I will say that Mick, Ethan, and Tyler, they were kind of the guinea pigs for this, so that they got to see like the first drafts of this, which were not nearly as balanced.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's come into its own. I like it quite a bit in this full card pool right now. It'd be interesting to see. So quite a few people are playing Coaxium. It would be interesting to see if players if players had to shave their list down in just a single light side and dark side of how much Coaxium we would see then.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. Okay. So
There was a lot of building flexibility with it.
yeah, since Ivan won this tournament, the last tournament, the spring one, to Daniel's always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah.
Ivan's stipulation was a full card pool and 4 decks in the cut. So every player has submitted 2 light and 2 dark decks. No decks can share a card. That means if you have Yoda, you seek Yoda in one, you can not have a 1x in the other. If you have it in one, you cannot have it in the other, even as a 1x. Also, your affiliations can't match. You could have Navy Coaxium and Navy Vanilla, or Navy and Dark Masters, but you can't have 2 Navy Coaxiums. And I found that
Yeah,
as
that
a
was a lot
restriction.
more relevant than I thought it would be.
It was really cool. I really liked deck building.
I can't run another, whatever Coaxium.
Yeah, I could I guess I've got to go Rebel now because I can't be Smuggler. Oh man. Or like I want to do a vehicle deck, but I also want to do a leaders deck, and those both want to run the Rebel affiliation. Oh, this doesn't work. I definitely had at least 1 or 2 of those moments, but more so it was like, well, Endor Luke's in this deck, you know. So where am I getting my bombs from my other list? Anyway, yeah, let's. So
I think they did a good job of shaking up I otherwise consider a rather stale meta.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to see.
I think.
Yeah,
Hold
what's
on.
up?
I think stale is the word I would use for the Star Wars meta. I think that the Star Wars meta in general is very diverse. It's like when you think about like where the card pool ended, it's just we've been used to it for so long that we kind of know what's there, right? But like it's not like we're rocking like
It's not like
board.
everybody's playing exactly the same decks.
Yeah,
But
I
have been there for
definitely
quite a while, so
I definitely did a lot of building, and then at the have done a lot of testing, and then my cool things, which are efficient and work and do all the stuff, come up against the Navy matchup, and they don't pass that test. And I'm like, I can't run this. I expect Navy. Or I've reinvented a deck and kind of taken out Yoda and done a thing. I've made choices. I kind of copped out on a couple on one of my lists. We'll see that, but I really want to see how the Coaxium shakes up this meta. So Mick is the only one who has seen all the lists. Mick, you gonna post it now?
yeah, it is there for us in cardgamedb.
All right, I'm gonna refresh this. By the way, everyone, I can see the stuff. I am streaming. I'm recording the video of this so everyone can see it. But anyone in the Discord should.
So this will be visible on the YouTube channel.
Yes,
video,
it is. It is
not
currently
in Discord.
Currently visible. And I'm just messing with my cropping settings right now. Yeah, that'll do.
Okay, our 1A player.
Okay, hold on. I'm just doing.
The season is Kira mode.
Hold on. I'm just making sure this isn't cropped badly. Oh, of course. What kind of a stream is it?
Here.
What kind of a stream would it be?
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
All right, that'll do. All right, let's see. Not that.
Buddy.
All right, Kira mode. Light side. We are on Trial Domain Beginning. Oh, I've seen this list. So we are at double Endor Luke, double Yoda's Hut, double Owen, and then the flavor is
sort of an assortment of mains here.
Forgotten Heroes is
That's core Obi.
That's core Obi. Forgot about
It's
him.
an interesting choice, but I guess play a Force user, draw a card. That is good. And he's got a lot of Force users and Forgotten Masters.
And Kyle and Forgotten Masters is Trasa and Hidden from the Empire. This is a coaxium.
So that's the spice there.
That's
in Vima
Vima. That's Vima Deboda. Daniel, tell me about this list.
So, I tried a couple different versions of this. Like the first draft of this was 2 Trasa, 2 Obi, 2 Yoda, and I think the problem it had was it just didn't have enough big bodies. Also, the earlier versions didn't have the Owen Luke combo, which I think is just too good not to run in one of your lists, if you can, right? So I was like, okay, I could probably put 2 lists together here. Like I can trim down on some of this, like keep the Owen Luke combo, keep the Yoda, and then spread out the mains. And then the Vima's like the 10th pod there. And that one's probably the toughest one, but ultimately decided to go with it because it's a shielding black tactics. And it's a tempo play, potentially.
Yep, she is definitely a tempo play, and she's got great icons.
I also am excited to see what happens when you flop Hidden from the Empire, and I look at my board and I go, okay. Or I guess it's Jim. It would be Jim's. So you're playing Jim. So yeah, and Jim is like, wait a second, I can't play 2 units. What?
Yeah, I don't 100% know if I want to flop that objective like ever. But in some matchups, it could make sense.
Yeah.
Like if I'm up against like a matchup where there's a bunch of babies and that's the whole deck, might as well flop it.
Yeah, if I'm playing ties against this,
yeah,
or like, I don't know, that can be a good objective. Okay? Let's look at this other light deck. Double Targeted Strike Han, double Dune Sea Hero, double May the Force with the coaxium. 1x Falcon, Freeholders, Lack, and Ezra Maul. Off color 7/3 coaxium, rocking False Report, Asteroid Sanctuary, and Yoda for $5 that don't do anything. Daniel, what is this list?
This list is nuts.
This is stupid.
Okay, first off, this list is good. All right, like this list does work. Now, the impetus for this list is I just wanted to play 2x Dune Sea Hero. And also I think that if you're gonna play Yoda within the framework of coaxium, you need to play him off color. That's where you're gonna get the most value out of him. Because like the decks that throw Yoda off color, they're already kind of treating the resourced and Yoda you seek Yoda as a dead card anyways, most of the time. So then if you're already doing that, going into coaxium isn't that much of a downgrade. And then I think like there's just like a lot of big bodies in there that I like that can actually hold the Force. Like Dune Sea can hold the Force. You got Chewie, you got Han. I'm generally okay with a Freeholder on the Force, just because they're elite. And then even Lack isn't elite, no 3 dots.
This is a lot of targeted strike and seeds too.
Oh yeah, 3 seeds, and you also have echoes in there from the Ezra Maul. Like the Ezra Maul was like the thing that made me feel like really good about the deck.
Is Dune Sea Hero a big Force body. Sensitive?
Dune Sea, I believe, is just a character scavenger.
Okay. No, still really cool.
And Ezra Maul, you're cool playing off color. Like the only cards you lose are Ezra and his stick if you miss the flop. And the stick you're probably not going to be able to play anyways because you don't have enough Force users here. So it's just Ezra. Which, I mean, you'd like to play him, but it's not the end of the world if you can't.
10 dots. No, I'm about it. No match for a good blaster. I still don't have faith in Chewie until you give him the 2 arms gun, which I know you were rocking that, and I played it a little bit last time. But that Chewie, it just sits there and doesn't do anything. It doesn't have any blast. It like does a force thing kind of, but I'll just take the force by focusing him. I don't know. When we played a test game, you had all sorts of guns, and maybe that's really good in a lot of matchups. We'll see. Anything else to say? Does anyone have hot takes on Daniel's light lists? These are a little wacky. There's a Vima and a Yoda coaxium. Also, I'm seeing 4 coaxiums from Daniel, so.
He's rocking the quad coaxium. Only player to do so.
All right.
I made the affiliation. I better play it, right? Like this might be the only chance.
See, it works. It works.
Get lost in the sauce. Okay, here's the Emperor's Promise. We've learned that everyone's talking about the Emperor's Promise, and I think some people, especially Daniel, are talking about Mission Command. 6 missions with block.
It's good, yeah.
D-lots and then double rav. So this is just a lot of direct damage, and I'm going to blow up your objectives.
Holy cow.
Yeah, you can only have 1 out at a time, Daniel.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I always draw 1. Because Bach becomes really sad if you don't have 1. And I will say the Contract Hunters were a complete menace. Like, I think almost every single game I played in group play had a Contract Hunters, and they were just devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in one of the games, I think it was against Donovan, it was like a turn 1 Contract Hunters mission, and I was like, oh, I can't play my Luke anymore because he just dies.
Mm-hmm.
So those guys are gross. The 0 cost tap is also gross, and
that with double TK strike is so much mitigation.
Yeah, the Vader was a late change. This is where like Ivan's stipulation of no duplicates was a big deal, because like that was Yularen for the longest time. But then I wanted my second dark side deck to be a Navy deck, which meant that I had to get rid of the Navy affiliation in this deck. And so that was kind of the final push to actually play D-Lots in there.
D-Lots is great. I think this deck is best with D-Lots. My versions of this had unit count issues, but I mean, turns out when you're running Promise, Lure of the Lost, and Mission Command, it feels like you have enough units. Are there like bad draws in this deck? Like too many missions, maybe?
I'd say that the worst draws in the deck are like sometimes your opening hands are just hosed. So like you can have an opening hand where you have like a Palpatine that you can't play, or you draw like 1 baby. But for the most part, the deck just pumps out a bunch of little bodies, and you're able to make it work. Like the worst thing about the deck in terms of tempo is just there's a lot of turns where you only spend $5 and you have 6 because you just don't have a 3-drop. It's like 2-drop, 2-drop, 1-drop, or like 2-drop, 2-drop mission or something.
Did you ever consider to run the Inquisitor pod, the triple mains, over like a Bach?
Not particularly.
Okay, just wondered.
I just wanted the speed.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go all in on the missions.
It's definitely fast. Let's look at the. What do you got on Navy Coaxium? Double Tarkin, double Might, double Inexorable, double Blizzard Assault, 1 Thrawn, 1 Ice Trompers, which I love in this list, but we have 3 Twists. We have only 2 monies in the Might, which I think that's fine. That card is free, so if you really needed to get out of your hand, you can. And Might is just too good not to run. Inexorable Blizzard Assault. This is a thing that I have been kind of turned on to, and I'm like, I'm not
immediately.
Blow you up immediately. I have enough money in my deck because of Coaxium. Like, this is the sort of thing you can never run Tarkin Doctrine and Inexorable Blizzard Assault without money. There's no, even in Navy with like Death Stars, you can't get enough money for that to work. But this is
in a normal card pool, you could sort of run this list, right? Like if you wanted to really run this, I think what you would do is you cut Thrawn, you cut the Ice Trompers, and then you probably play like Thunder Flare and like Mahdi.
You can look at
You know,
Maybe
Mod
sabotage in the snow.
Sabotage. I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
sabotage of the snow.
yes, the sabotage works too. It's just like, like dark side does have an advantage over light side in that if they want to get money, they have some double money objectives that they can just throw in decks to smooth things out. Light side doesn't have that. But at the same time, it's like if you're putting like say Thunder Flare in here, Thunder Flare does not benefit from auto striking in a way that Thrawn does.
So you're leaning
So,
really
like-
into Inexorable here.
Yeah. Like the idea of the deck is I want to have good units with Inexorable. Because like, okay, if I have Inexorable showing on the table, and then I have any one of Thrawn, Chimera, the 5-drop, Walker, like it's really hard to make an attack. Right? It doesn't matter whether I have the fake card or not. You have to assume that I could have it. And you have to plan accordingly. And so if you just have a dude with 3 health, he might just die. Or if you have a dude with no enhancements, they get blown up. And that makes negotiating an attack very difficult.
You've got 3 twists and a bunch of 3-dot cards. And a supporting fire. You have,
so,
multiple pods. Like Tarkin and Killing Cold have 3-dot twist. Might, Inexorable, and Blizzard Assault all have double 3-dot cards.
Yeah, and I think out of my 4 lists, I would say this is probably the least inventive, right? A lot of this is like good card stock deck, right? But I mean, the reason I wanted to make the affiliation card was I felt like there's a bunch of two pod combinations in the game that make a lot of sense together, but neither one of the two have resources. And so then at that point, you're like, okay, well, if I'm playing 4 pods without resources, now the entirety of my list has to be dedicated to fixing the resource issue, as opposed to maximizing what the deck's trying to do. And that's something that I've always hated deck building wise in Star Wars. And that was like the primary motivation to to make the affiliation. And it's like, yeah, like Inexorable and Walkers, that makes sense. No one's ever tried it because the money just doesn't work and you'd be trying too hard to fix it. And now it's like, okay, well, we can actually try it now. How good it is up for debate. I mean, I'm not playing Endor Entrapment. And I think it's like kind of like if you're putting a gun to my head, what's better, auto striking Walkers or just having Endor Entrapment? The answer is probably Endor Entrapment. But at the very least, you can try it and see for yourself, as opposed to immediately writing it off because it doesn't have money.
Yeah, I really have found so many pods. Like I've been picking up Kyle Katarn and Chirrut with more actual thought than I have, and Lack with more thought than I have ever. Cool. Let's find Brainiac now. Donovan's going to start with Guardians of Justice. Is that 6/6?
Yep, that's 7 reserve there.
All right, 7 reserve. We have double Luke. Oh my God, he's going sideways.
Skyhammer.
He's going sideways. Double resolve is which one's resolve?
Colby, I don't go sideways, Colby. It just looks like that.
Which one's resolve?
Coming at you.
Hero's resolve is Speeder Luke.
That's Hoth Luke. Okay,
Hoth
so
Luke.
you went speeders. Double Hoth Luke, double Kian, double Skyhopper, double Doifor, double Wes, and then Leia Blue Squadron support. Okay. Donovan went fast.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and tell you like a little thing I noticed. Wes doesn't say deal damage to an enemy unit. He says to a target unit. So
you're trying to shoot Leia with Wes here?
Oh, he's gonna ping her a couple times, maybe.
He's also gonna ping speeders so that you make Luke or something?
Yeah, exactly.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
I tried speeders. I tried my 2016 speeders. I tried it with Skyhopper also. And I just found that the dark side had too much of a crackback to handle this. Donovan, can you pump out enough bombs with this? It looks like a lot.
Yeah, it's all bombs.
It's all bombs.
If that blue squadron gets on the table, that guy does some damage, especially if he's striking twice before you get to strike. So.
Oh, with Leia,
So.
That's
With
optimistic.
Leia, Key, and West, that's a big combo list there, but that deals quite a bit of damage.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
I haven't played this deck, so we'll see. I just thought, let's try it.
Okay. All right. Where's Brainiac? There he is.
Yeah, I mean, the next deck looks very familiar. It just switched from Jedi to Jedi Coaxium.
You are actually running the Crow?
Yeah. Of course. I mean, it's a deck I played. It was always low on money, but I made it work. Now
Excuse me.
it has money, so it's fine.
This is the exact list that you ran in 2018,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, is this your world?
Yeah,
list?
it's exactly.
With the
I was
coaxium?
thinking this looks familiar.
Yep.
So-
Exact list. It doesn't have much money in the pod. I mean,
I see 3, so you're right, yeah.
the Luke money, it's fine. It's mostly just to get a ping anyway, so it still does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
I didn't realize this was your worlds list.
Yeah. I did like 2 worlds lists and then 2. Let me just throw stuff together and have fun with it.
All right, let's see this one. There it is. That's New York Force Hunters right there. No.
Okay, I think we're gonna see this list 3 times.
Yep. This is like this was on my list. This was like in my reserve, but I'm not running this. But this is John Elphick, Xavier Donovan, yeah. Because I know it's not Jim.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this.
It's got
list.
a lot of guns.
This deck
So many
It's really
guns
strong.
here.
This deck plays the best 2-drops in the game, and doesn't have time to play Palp, so it just plays Killing Cold instead.
I love that Colby continues to think of this deck as like a really good 2-drop deck, and I think of it so differently.
Please,
Like,
enlighten.
I always think of this is the deck that plays the game on every level, and like, yeah, the 2-drops help, but this is a deck that attacks. It's a deck that defends. It's a deck that fights on the Force. It's a deck that makes you work hard on the Force as well. And it's a deck that has edge. Like, it just is like making you play every aspect of the game, and it does each of those like better than average.
Yeah, I also like that our statements aren't directly opposed to each other.
No, it's just the way you focus on the 2-drops is not wrong, because like the Lannick lackeys are disgusting. The Night Sister ladies are really good. Defil's a 3-drop, but Defil's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a lot of space to fill in, especially with the coaxium. And the
drops.
Oh yeah, not the coaxium. But the way the money's set up, you can just really nicely get to 6 and 7, and that's like 4-drop, 3-drop, or 3-drop, or like 2-drop, 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 3-drop sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And it just
It's got
all
a
the
ton of
objectives-
removal because it's got Mara, it has Vader, it has what's his name?
Double Knives in the Night.
it has Joss,
It has
it
Joss.
has
It has
Bane.
Joss and it has Bane, and then it has all of those Night Sisters. Like
its
4
units
echoes
don't miss when
and-
they attack. This deck very
Mhm.
rarely wastes guns, just because they can always put them where they want them to be.
The deck also just does damage without attacking. I like cleared Jim's board with Night Sisters and 2 abandoned hideouts.
Yep, just move those back and forth.
Yeah. And then did like a dumb thing where I had a committed Ice Tromper and I attacked with it just so I could sack it to get a Force card to do another ping to kill Jim's like Leia or something.
Disgusting. This deck is.
Yeah.
I love this deck so much. And the reason I focus on the 2-drops, the reason I focus on the low cost curve, is because of how I remember it showing up at both Worlds and Nationals 2018 compared to the rest of the metagame from around the world. And I feel like this is our optimal list. And
just like relevant 2-drops on the board.
Specifically dropping Palp. That was like the big thing that we all decided right before going to Worlds. And that was like a moment that I remember with me and my crew. the crew that is currently in this bracket and rocking this deck 3 times. But let's see what Donovan. What is this deck? The Ladies' Lesson. Donovan.
The pod that I never want to play. Never
Donovan.
want to play.
So this deck started out was like, okay, I'm gonna play Malakili. So what creature do I want to get? And I was like, let's get that old Rancor.
Shadows of Dathomir?
Yeah.
And then
I'm like, yeah. But then I'm like, well, I might as well get some event recursion if possible, because I have all these one-of events. So so you won't know what bad event I have in my hand, but I will have one probably. So will it be? I don't know. I haven't played it again. This is my I'm gonna throw some stuff together deck. So
is Heartless Tactics Dengar?
Yeah. So we got one capture.
Yeah.
One Ladies'
so
Lesson.
You can bring that captured.
Yeah.
Disturbance in the Force is a real card.
That's a real card if I get red out. So that's why I did a double Shizor. Try and dig for red.
And I was looking at you only have 2 Sith objectives, but you have Masterful, so.
Yeah. So I don't know. Light side blowing up stuff too, got a chance. But
the Cabal seems like a real weird choice, but it gives you a second prep and planning, I guess.
Yeah.
Utini?
Hut's Hospitality, Utini, 1-cost capture, maybe on.
Okay.
I don't know. Got some stuff.
I don't think I've ever seen such a Donovan list. This is a thing of beauty.
Did I put Pilot Boba in there?
You did?
One copy. He doesn't have a lot of ships to go on, but all the ships you probably want, because Headhunters are good, the Sandcrawler is good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can actually use Jabba's summons to go find a Headhunter, can't you? The Mercenary.
I think that works. Yeah.
I love it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, then it's 1. No, I don't know. Who knows?
How does the Ladies' Lesson work? You focus 2 characters and then you kill all attackers, just period?
I was going to say, I want to see you focus your 2 Jawas to take out a horde of Ewoks.
Yeah, well, it could happen.
Oh,
yeah.
My God.
That's Shizor's Chud is good for that too, because his money doesn't do anything, so he can just get focused for Ladies' Lesson. So.
True. He doesn't have money because it's coaxium.
How many dollars are in this deck? So you've got the Shizor Chud, you've got the Pilot Boba, you've got what's the woman in Ladies' Lesson? What's her name?
Lady Valerian or something?
Yeah, Lady Valerian sounds right.
Isn't she Darkside Jedi Leia?
She's Darkside Jedi Leia. Yeah, she's gross.
Yeah.
Oh. You've got the Dengar money.
Dengar's money could still be worth playing,
it's
though.
Still good.
Yeah,
it ups, health and empowers Dengar, so
it's a big tempo hit.
It's reasonable.
I really want to see this Rancor coming out. Shadows of Dathomir has 4 red cards in it, though. You've got
but they have good edge.
Okay.
Except for I think. I mean, there are 2s. 2, 2, 3. I think 2, 3, 3.
So on the resource front, I remember I forgot which card pool it was, but I played the Echoes Palp off color in a deck with Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I did the math, when you factor in the Caesar flips, it was I think he had a 75% chance to hit a red money by turn 3.
Okay.
So
it was reasonable.
It's better than you'd think. Although I will say I think Simalu's trash. So I don't know. I don't know if that would be the right one I would go. I'd almost rather just a double Rancor in that slot, but I don't know.
Yeah, I threw some stuff around, but I was like, I don't know, whatever. It was the last pod in, so I was like,
Or just throw Mio in there. I'd rather.
Mio would have been cool.
I considered Mio. Yeah, he is good.
Simalu's the one with executive override, right?
Hands off the keyboard, guys. Hands off.
Whoa.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
I chickened out and I went back to Kraken.
Okay. Good old-fashioned tricolor Kraken here.
Yep. I really tried hard to make this a coaxium list, but if I'm running Kraken, I've got to run double Kraken, double Screech, and you just can't pick a coaxium for that. Like, you want both you need the 3 money for Kraken, you need the 3 money for Screech, you want to be playing Rescue Mission and probably Bamboozle, so your money just never works. And then I tried all sorts of builds, and I ended up on Gamma Run as a 1x, because with all the coaxiums on the dark side, I want to choke them out. I want to go turn 1 Yoda and Nudge, dial to 1, you have 1 money again. I want to go Gamma Run, I want to play Make Your Own Luck, I want to take your dial to 2, I want Palpatine to come out in turn 4. It's going to be great.
That could work.
But yeah, this deck is just explosive. I couldn't play it at the beginning of this tournament, but I can play it now. This is replacing a cool deck that I had with Capital Cover, but I played it against Daniel, and it loses to Mission Palp, and it loses to anything Navy, anything with an exorable just lost, or Tarkin it lost, and I expected those things, so I couldn't play it. This one I'm really happy about. I was experimenting a lot with a Kyle Katarn Chirrut list, and I know that both of them are in here, but this list is just the best objectives. Turns out when you have all of these Ewoks, I played a lot of games versus Darren with Ewoks. He had Dash and a lot of DJ 3PO. I played Ivan. He had 5/5 with all 5 neutrals on the smuggler side, and he had Spark. I've played Daniel with. I've seen Yoda lists. I think coaxium is what makes Ewoks the strongest. I remember back to, I think it was the summer tournament. Whichever one had the I think it was my last summer tournament, where I put Logray in and no 1-for-1 monies. Turns out Logray is just a monster. You flop that objective, and he's great. All your Ewoks don't die for 2 turns.
Yeah, Ewoks don't die.
And then it had Kyle Katarn and Chirrut, and they were bouncing. They were getting free units, but it was not consistent, and there wasn't a good enough unit count. So it became Luke. And then Luke with... I mean, we've always kind of known that Luke is part of the tribe with Protect or an extra bomb or Tribe of the Trees is just great. It's a free enhancement for Luke. And then the last slot was still Kyle until I wanted more bombs and the ability to sack Wolfman to the Pyre and get them back.
Tribe of the Trees doesn't have an enhancement, does it?
No. But it's got 4 units and a 4-.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. There's no dollars in this deck, just Luke's money, and that doesn't count. Yeah, the coaxium, I think, just puts Ewoks over the edge. I had a lot of other lists in contention for the first deck slot, but I couldn't figure out a fancy thing to do that was...
Hey, Colby, I got a question on this list.
Yeah.
Have you played it against anyone where Luke becomes an Ewok and then he just goes God mode in a way that they just can't deal with?
I don't think,
because like there are objective flops where Luke getting the Ewok, like if Luke has an extra 7 health and also is untargetable, that seems pretty disgusting.
I mean, I just think I don't even focus on Luke in the list. My other list was a Jedi coaxium Brainiac Leia, a Jedi Leia list. And the issue was Luke was the only win condition. I would have to play Guardian, Leia, Yoda. I had Q-Ron in there for a second. I had Wolfman in there. And I just couldn't win the game. And then Luke comes out and he gets deadly sighted. Luke comes out and he gets killed. Game over. Yeah, Luke can go God mode. Luke, I think if I actually play turn 1 Luke part of the tribe, depending on my flop, I don't double strike with them with that part of the tribe that stays there. But the whole point of this deck is I don't want Luke to be the focal point. He can be. He's absolutely a monster if he is. But I want to do 4 attacks a turn. I want to do damage around. I want to put you in a no-win situation. I want Pyre to just make you sad. I love Pyre. Yeah, Luke can go God mode, but I don't want him to be find Luke. I didn't find Luke, so I lost. And I don't want Logray to be that either, so that's why Luke's here. Dark Side, I'm on my tie list. I made this for 2018. I played it with Mick at Worlds, and then I realized it actually had sauce. And then I ran it at Nationals,
That's all right.
And it lost in the cut to Nate Ferraro. I think this deck is insane. I love playing this deck. I have an article about it where I talk about this deck at length if anyone wants to know about it. Does anyone want me to talk about this deck, or anyone have questions? Because I'll just skip right by it. It's all
Just remember holding force for like 8 turns and not doing any damage.
Yeah, I mean, support of the fleet. Those protector ships say that 2 of my objectives, maybe 3 of them, just aren't going to take damage. It says if you play a mission at me, it's not going to take damage. I definitely won a game against Darren in the cut in the pools because he tried to lay 8 damage, 10 damage on the tribe of on the Wicket mission, and it just all funneled into the protectors into Black 2. There were like 8 bombs that I absorbed, and he looked at the game. It's like, where'd all my damage? Like, I thought I was doing well, and I go, you were. Where'd my board go? I don't have a board, but you've taken in 1.5 objectives, and the mission's still on the table. Deck is nuts. I love this deck. Anyone else? Comments, questions? I tried so hard to build a coaxium deck with Navy. I really wanted to play Tarkin. I think Tarkin is fantastic in this format. I think Rule by Fear hits a lot of the things that Coaxium wants to do. Coaxium is $3. Rule by Fear hits $3 things. Otherwise, Coaxium is playing a 4-drop and a 2-drop, which says that Moment of Triumph kills it. If you're only playing one thing a turn, then Tarkin can take care of that early, and then I can come and bop you with my ships. Gladiators are still nuts. And I decided on Deploy the Fleet because I'm afraid of the light side going faster than me.
Oh, go close games, yeah.
No, it's not even close games. I just want to open games on reasonable amounts of money. I want the 2-cost reduction on my ships. I played a game against Daniel where I just set up. I played 2 ships on the first turn and had like 9 money going into the second turn just because I popped my own Deploy the Fleet on turn 1. I wanted to stabilize faster in the format, so Deploy the Fleet. Yeah. Jim and I talked about this for like an hour last week. Oh, he's gone.
I mean, Navy's still good, right? Like
Tarkin and Chimera, inexorable. What can go wrong?
Yeah. It's kind of like
Gladiators.
Yeah, when like new things enter the meta, you kind of worry that like whatever the new stuff is gonna just take over. And a lot of times, like things like Mono Navy and Force Hunters, they're gonna be as dumb as they ever were. Ewoks with Spark is still insane, you know.
Not as good as Ewoks with Coaxium.
Yeah, I do like Ewok Coaxium a lot. Like I played a little bit of that, and it feels good. Now you don't have like the super high swings that Spark gives you, but like the mid game feels really good.
The other thing about the Navy list is I'm still mad at Donovan. Just Donovan existing. Brainiac is the worst card, and I can't play 1-drops. I just can't play Darkside 1 health units. I feel so bad. I mean, I've got superior numbers, but those guys don't count. I wanted to play Death Star over Andor Entrapment. I wanted to like ramp in that way. I wanted to find some sort of something. Brainiac is a menace, and I need him to be gone. I need him to Moment of Triumph and goodbye. Something C-3PO. All right, let's look at Xavier's lists. Xavier, you tell me about your lists. All right, I'll do it. All right.
Wait, okay, which one's first?
Mercenary Contracts on the run.
Oh, ew. This deck's fine. I like didn't know what I wanted to play as my second light side list, and so I like fell onto, well, what if I run Rex Vizago, and like go from there. And I just put in a bunch of pods with good mains. So like all the people that I can like all the mains I can put down are actually like a little dangerous. I'm a big fan of Jin. I have a well-known love for units with 2 black bombs. And so like Jin fits that. Rex fits that.
Zeb fits that.
Yeah. And so that's just like that was like what I was. Oh, and Sabine. And so I'm just like here's my squad of people with bombs, and like they'll show up and they'll just each will do their thing.
Double bow
I don't know.
You trying to get Sabine back with the event?
Yes, but really I just wanted to make sure I had edge.
Okay.
Like edge is important, especially also I needed some like somebody elite. Like the only elite units in my deck are secretly Hera and Boshek, basically. Jin is elite, but Jin doesn't actually want to be on the force. He wants to attack.
The ghost. Is good.
Oh sure, yeah. But I think sort of a little bit of my issue is it doesn't block with tactics in a way that it really needs to. And so it definitely wants to be going in. Yep.
Cool. Okay,
yeah,
and you
skip
still
that
have
one.
double...
Let me talk about my other decks.
All right, okay, let's talk about this Smuggler Coaxium deck.
Yeah, so this is my signature deck. Like definitely one of the things that I was thinking about when this card pool showed up is I described it as this is the signature deck card pool. And so for me, I pulled out Leia card, which is a combo deck I've been playing literally since like 2015. Like I have actively tried to play other light side decks and failed to come up with something that like feels for me the way Leia card does. And like I'm not going to be like Leia card is busted and everyone should be playing it. It is definitely totally fair, but it always has that sort of potential of being like, you know what, I'm just going to win this turn, and that is a like variance in my deck that I appreciate and like having, because it can always just like draw Leia Falcon, you're my only hope, play Leia, play Falcon, play Leia, refresh, and then pop in like rescue Leia, pop her back in, and do it again, kind of thing. It also is like a menace to edge against because it has 4 twists and a bunch of 3-dot cards, and so it just does a lot of, and it has, like I said, this deck has something like 12 2 black bomb units. No, it's more than that. Oh my goodness. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. Oh no, it's like right about 12. But yeah, it just.
But you've got
yeah,
Resupply Depot. You've got.
And I have I've got Resupply Depot. I've got Blockade Runner.
Ugh.
Yeah, and you can refresh Resupply. Like I used to be really into like having a big turn where I would like play Leia and a like spaceship, and then pop Leia, and then play another spaceship and a Chud. But now I'm just all about if I can find a place to refresh inside combat. That's just the thing that's gonna seal the deal. Like I already have 6 bombs on the table. Let me just like attack, hit 6 bombs twice.
This is terrifying. This deck is actually terrifying. Because also, like you're always gonna have 4 or 5 money, even after the calling in favors.
Right. Oh, the thing that the Coaxium does for this is it's always had money issues. But this has the secret of I can flop calling in favors, play Falcon, and then for the rest of the game, I literally have exactly 5 money, and I can play Falcon and then Falcon in another card, and then play Falcon and then Falcon in another unit, and that is just like the thing it does for the rest of the game.
Yep. And
that is like the space that it has.
Are there cards that you didn't put in here that are worth mentioning?
There was, so one of the things that Daniel said earlier was like 2 pod combinations that really want to play together that don't have money. And I always wanted to do Lack breaking the blockade, or Lack raise the stakes, excuse me. Mm-hmm. Because you can like try and like cheese through the like double unopposed damage, and then Lack splashes for double unopposed damage and things like that. And I was already running raise the stakes. Like Blockade Runner is actually really good against metas where people are trying to play mains, and like there's very like there's like, I don't know if there's any 2-cost units that can stand up to Blockade Runner. Mythal is like maybe the best. But like that's like
Yeah,
Ponda Baba
is pretty good.
Wait, Ponda Baba costs 2?
Yeah. So
Oh,
does
he
Dr.
costs 4, but he comes in for 2. Ponda Baba.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay,
That doesn't
Spider.
count. Yeah, you have to. Sure, yeah, but everyone knows Eric Dahlman's afraid of spiders, and so that's why they're scary.
I'm terrified of quad. Like, you can't get locked down. You have Leia and quad CCO. It's terrifying.
Oh yeah, definitely over tactics by units, and so like CCO, right? And CCO comes in like make sure that I'm always getting value out of Blockade Runner. So yeah,
disgusting.
And it has 4 twists of fate.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to edge against, and when you are allowed to edge against it, and then like Talon Card is actually secretly the best blocker in the game because he's like one of. Is there another 2 tactics smuggler unit? Is he the only 2 tactics smuggler unit?
That's Tidarium.
Okay, yeah. So
better.
So like Talon Card. Yeah, Talon Card also secretly refreshes stuff. I don't know, like people like he has words that are like hilarious with Bamboozle because you can like go in with Falcon and Talon Card, strike with both, Bamboozle off of Talon Card, refresh the Falcon, and then do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Disgusting.
Lots of shenanigans.
Dark Side.
Dark Side. I'm running Night Hunters. This is also one of the decks that I have been running for years. In fact, I joke at like the 2014 or 2015 New York Regionals, I played Force Hunter's Leia card for the first time, and then here I am like back here being like, yeah, these are the decks I want to play. My original Force Hunters deck was not as good. It was running Rancor with Night Sisters. It was running IG-88.
Wait, no, didn't you run Victory Death?
No.
Not
You're thinking of my Coruscant deck.
Oh no, wait.
Yeah. Did you also have a Coruscant deck?
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I love the Coruscant. I run with Heart of the Empire, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. It keeps evolving. Like when Golan's hit the Coruscant deck, it was like, oh, maybe this is ready. Okay, but back to Night Hunters. Like I said, we already talked about it. It's a deck that plays the game on every level. It's a deck I'm really comfortable with. I really like attacking as a way of managing my board state. And so, like I said, the guns in this deck don't miss. If I attack, I can get guns where I need them to be. And then Night Sisters do the like extra little bit of damage in case I like don't have one of my many lightsabers to get my 3rd gun, right? And then
the last list.
Yeah. So the last list is a list that I've been like curious, like thinking about, and it's definitely a thing that's working out because of Coaxium, and it's the Sith event list very much in the like original old school Sith style. Like I'm running core Palp and core Vader for the Force Chokes and the Force Lightnings.
But the advisor of the Emperor grew up and got a black tactics and words and another health.
Yeah, you mean Simalu?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, exactly. And so like Simalu was the like thing that added to the event list, but again, doesn't come with money. And like that list needs money because you want to be able to play something and then still be able to afford Lightning, especially if you don't have Emperor's Web out. And so I was like, okay, let's go here. Let's get events. And then a thing that I know from like this deck is really funny because maybe if you've been playing against me in like these online tournaments, you might feel like Xavier is someone who plays mono Sith sometimes, but it is very much an antithesis to my particular style. Like I am very much I'm going to attack you with either Scum or Navy units. But the limited card pools have genuinely helped me expand my like ability to play mono Sith. And so this is like the culmination of that. So like this year of like getting a little bit of practice with mono Sith. I played mono Sith in the last tournament with Simalu, and I was like, oh, you know what's really neat? Always having an event in your hand. And so like Simulou's events, Simulou, the one that moves the damage, and then Sate's Endless Bureaucracy, always having that event ready so that you can play event, get a shield from Simulou's guy, or do a damage with Vader, means you just always have that option available. And that just became a piece of utility that I knew I could basically guarantee. And then fun thing, with Sith Coaxium, you can just play Palp on turn 2, and it's fine. Palp on turn 2, and then you still have your 1 Emperor's Web money to just like drop in your event, and then you can start, especially when you start like cycling, if you like start being in a spot where you can really block and be in the way of people, just cycling Cruel Procedures, playing it on every turn for free just means like your guys never die, their guys are always dead, and then you just come out over the top.
Are there Sith events that you wish you had put in, or that you wanted to put in, but like there was money in the way?
I was seriously considering like running Jarek, but I don't think you can Jarek Coaxium. Like Jarek's a cool 4-dot card. His words are fine. Like he's a good unit.
He's not a good unit.
Fighting words.
He's good on the Force. All right.
Next thing you're gonna do is tell me that his chuds have words.
Oh my gosh! Like his chuds would have been like the cool words on his chuds are Inquisitor, right? Those are the words that are cool. And it would have been nice to run them next to Inquisitors. And so there's definitely a version of this deck where I like put in a Jarek, I like maybe cut the Sate and one of the Sims for the like to go harder in on Inquisitors and get some value there and like put some money in, but. Yeah, Jarek would have been cool. Disturbance of the Force is an event I love. Would have been nice to run. Actually, would have been fine. Like that would have been like a choice, but I think that actually would have been okay because like Blessing of the Emperor is also a nutty card. What else? What other events do I really like?
The real question is, why isn't Arden Lin in here?
Yeah,
you're right. When I'm looking at it, because I expect this.
You were looking at a pretty similar deck for a while, I know.
Yeah. No, you are not wrong. I definitely spent some time looking at Arden Lin, and I genuinely just don't trust her events. And like that might be lack of experience with them, but I like not like as much as I love variance, that was like too much variance for me to like figure out how I'm going to like make sure that damage is useful.
He's got to believe in the heart of the cards.
Sure, maybe that's the lesson I haven't yet learned. But yeah, Arden would have been fine.
Have you not played Leia card? You always talk about play like you're going to win. You always you need to play Arden Lin's events like you're going to hit 5 dots or 4 dots.
You know what? Maybe.
But aren't you kind of sad playing her in Coaxium when she can't like you flop her for 4 damage, but then she doesn't come onto the board?
Wait, no, she
does. She comes from discard. She's good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, she comes from discard?
Yeah.
I thought it was like top card of the deck.
No, you discard the top card of your deck, then you play her from discard.
Oh, okay. So she does work with Coaxium. I thought she didn't.
Yeah. No,
I will say, like, you want to play her event for 1 ping, right? Like that's how you play the event properly. Just treat it as a 1-cost force choke, unless you've stacked your deck or are desperate, right?
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And then just like 8 of my cards do direct damage, and 2 of them are Force Lightning. Yeah, I could get behind that because I probably run it over Inquisitors because like the Press for Answers was my like free event that I could play whatever kind of thing, and it could have just been whatever Arden's event is.
Well, you can't play Arden's event into vehicles just like Choke, so having the free event from Inquisitors was actually is very relevant.
It turns out it's actually fine. You get a little bit of control. I'm running a lot of uniques because I'm running double Inquisitors. It works out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good. It's good. Cool. Ethan's next. Is Ethan here? Ethan's not here.
Okay. I had to go, y'all. Thanks for letting me talk
about his list.
Have fun.
All right, let's judge Ethan's lists. All right, he is. Which one's no questions asked? That's
Smuggler Jedi double money.
double money. Okay, so he is on
Yeah.
Spark. He's on Spark Ewoks.
It's on Spark Ewok. So this is a slight tweak to the Ewok deck that we ran in 2018. He did some more tinkering with it and wound up cutting along the Gamor run for a second copy of Impersonating a Deity, which I think is correct.
Rash Action.
Rash Action's good. Seeds is good.
Those Ewoks are fine.
More Ewoks.
They're not good into Brainiac, but they're fine.
And like that, the objective's good. So.
And he's running a Wicket, so.
Yeah, he's got one copy of Wicket, tribal support. Like you don't get blockers.
Yub
and
is mean.
It just can produce a huge board, a huge undying board so fast. I think the trifecta is Spark, Native Blessings, Tribe of the Trees. Tribe of the Trees is so good.
Deity is still good though.
They're all good. Like they are all acceptable objectives to see. Tribal support's probably the least exciting of them.
Yeah.
I think if he sees Spark, Native Blessings, Tribe of the Trees, that's what he starts with.
Can tribal support pick up any Ewok?
It's probably like 3 or less.
Yeah, I feel like it can't pick up Logray.
Probably can't do Logray.
Cool list, but it is World's tier. It is World caliber, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited to see it. Who's playing it? Is it Donovan?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Like what matchup he lands in with this deck is super interesting, right? Because Donovan's running the Scum nonsense, and what was Donovan's other deck?
Force Hunters. Night Hunters.
It is Force Hunters, yeah. So like this has a great matchup versus Force Hunters, but I think Donovan's Scum list could take it over this one. So determining what matchup this lands in is really important.
Yeah, I think the matchup is going to be important here. I don't know. I just know that this deck can produce a very wide board very quickly.
We need to be very clear about how decks are selected. Like certainly like top seed picks side, and then you pick your deck.
Top seed picks side, and then both players go into the tank and secretly pick their decks.
And then in game 5, it's the same, right? Winner picks side, and then it's a secret tank. And once you do your first pick, the rest of it falls into place, except for game 5.
Game 2 is actually the tank again for the the other side.
I guess you're right. Okay.
But 3 and 4 are then set. Yeah.
Okay. His other list is Coaxium.
This is interesting. This is Donovan's list, except that he's not running Moldy Crow. He's running Chirrut instead.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. There's a Stunning Blow in there, and Chirrut just being able to push through.
In the Coaxium, I would agree with that, except for the fact that the Crow just brings 2 win conditions. Like.
Yeah, I think he saw the Crow as too many dead cards for him, since the money wasn't doing anything in Coaxium. But Crow hits for so many bombs, and
its
my
words
allies
are insane.
Via wipe.
The words on the Crow, just as a unit, is insane. And
yeah, they're both going to be trying to out Brainiac each other.
Oh, boy.
I'm excited for this matchup.
That's going to be fun.
Like we're guaranteed, right? Yeah, we're guaranteed to see at least one Brainiac fight there.
Yeah.
Anyway, is Donovan still on the call?
No.
Because I would want to know how betrayed he'd feel if he lost to that deck.
It depends on if Chirrut comes out, right?
Yeah,
like if
he
loses to Stunning Blow,
then
it's like okay, Stunning Blow is actually a lot cooler in this list than something with just heats. Like actually having the Brainiac pings, and the deflections to.
Yeah, you got the deflection. I mean, you could bring back Luke's lightsaber, get a ping, and stunning blow a blocker away. That's
Always
cool.
that. Cool list. These seem strong and tested. But it is cool that it is a coaxium list.
Yeah, I think these are pretty.
This is new. Is it? Wait.
They're known.
Interesting.
This is the dark side list that won Gen Con in 2018 after Worlds. So it has
BK.
double mission command and double Bach. So it has 4 walk killing board wipes.
But it's also got the
And
BK.
And it's got BK. Yep, it's got BK for targeted strike there. It has Bane. It's got I don't like you either for just shooting guns. Spiders for tromping through. This deck can blow up 4 objectives by turn 3.
Yeah, this deck is very powerful. I'm wondering if there's any unexpected downside to having the coaxiums against this, right? Like the coaxiums encourage you to go monocolored, but they don't force you. But they definitely breed more monocolored lists. And
yeah, I mean the contract hunters become less good against mono decks, but I think it's still fine. Mm-hmm. They can smack missions.
But like when the light side has to play a money every turn, when you have to play a money every turn, that's one less card in hand you have for edge, right? Mm-hmm. When you have a coaxium, you have another card in your hand. You're that much better at defending. You have that much more of a consistent plan, so you can expect the aggression. I don't know. I think it might. I'm hoping that the coaxium enables a little bit more defense. I don't know. I might just be saying words. I don't know. No mission palp though. Bach instead of mission palp. Lower to the ground, faster. Probably better without the coaxium. The other one is dark What? What is this shit?
Looks familiar, doesn't it?
I didn't know Ethan played
he's
my
happy
list.
With that list.
I didn't know Ethan played ties. Who plays my list? It's a good list.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone else play my list.
I think he's been happy with how it can just swarm the board, so.
Interesting. Oh, I hope.
Yeah.
Oh, I want Donovan to beat him, but I also want a chance to play my list. I don't think I've ever played against anyone who plays my list. He even went with the
Ethan
sword.
Just decided he's gonna be the gatekeeper. Like he's running nothing but like proven decks that. I mean, one of them he did make himself, right? The Ewok deck is his, but the other ones he's like, I got my deck, and I'm rocking 3 other people's decks that killed it.
Donovan's deck. I got Colby's deck. Who's this Promise of Power deck?
His favorite Naruto character is Kakashi.
The Gen Con 2018 deck.
Who is this though?
Best thing is like he gets to play Brainiac against Donovan, and if you wins, advance,
play Dark
both
Masters.
of you win, then he gets to play Dark Masters against you.
Or Jonoff gets to fight against the ties twice.
A second time. Ooh. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Ethan's the gatekeeper. I'm playing my Ewok deck, and I'm playing these known commodities.
I will say that I definitely got superior numbers hot pocket ideas. I think it was from like either Ethan or maybe it was Tom or something. But like, yeah. Okay, let's talk about mixed lists. Mercenary Contracts. That's draw 7.
Yeah.
7
reserve.
Caverns.
Go Caverns. Yep.
Double Trust Me. What is going on here? Hit and Run. Commando Raid. Is this target deck? This is target deck.
Yeah, this is the target of opportunity deck.
Wait, it's got Commando Ops? You're running... Is that Crix?
That's Crix, yeah. So he doesn't have a target, but he has Adaptive Strategy, which can duplicate a target. And he has
1,
Seeds.
2... That has a target Rebel Fleet. That's home 1. Okay, so you're running targets. Have you played this before? You. What is this? I've never seen this.
This is This is Shad's brainchild that we went down to the Kansas Regional in
I
2018.
might have seen this.
And like, okay, we're gonna play some games, in the hotel, Friday night. It's like I had some precursor to what ultimately became my Worlds 2018 deck, and he was just blowing it out of the water with target of opportunity left, and I was like, what is this? Like, getting super frustrated. It's like, well, whatever. My deck's still good. Then Ethan and I both went back and built this deck and started testing with it. And the meta was just in this really weird place where Darkside wanted to go fast. They had largely moved away from having any twists of fate in their decks. And if no twists are in, then all of those targets hit. And 7 reserve, you can draw a lot of cards. You can get a lot of targets. Yeah, so I played it at like one of the fun tournaments after Worlds 2018. Like during that weekend. Thought I would bring it out here just in case people hadn't seen it.
Yeah, this is super fun.
Ethan tweaked it a little bit. He cut. So Shad originally had Lady Luck in it. It's got a target.
Broken Horn though. Broken Horn.
Yeah. Broken Horn, because allies is kind of like a target, and the droids let you selectively search for targets. So
yeah. Okay.
It hits fast.
How often do you put Echo Caverns on the table? As a 2x?
Often enough.
Man.
I mean, sometimes there's games where like Echo Caverns comes out, Lando comes out, and Darkside just nothing they can do.
Even in Lando's pod, there's like a blank card. There's like an event in his pod.
It's a target. Lando's pod has a target of opportunity.
It's got 2 money. Okay, what's this? Fighters for Freedom. That's Rebel into Jedi refresh? Am I right?
Yeah, that's Rebel Jedi refresh. This is sort of like my goodcards.com deck.
Rex, Cassian, Hera, Yoda, 1 Luke, 1 Secret, 1 Survivors. Yeah, Survivors.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure on that last slot, but Survivors, like it fleshes out the protection shell in the deck, and Force Rejuve, like doubles Force Rejuve on Rex is amazing.
I really like the play where you let Curon take 3 damage and then you heal it all off with the Phantom.
With Phantom? Yeah, that's
like
good
the
too.
Chewbacca play. Good stuff. Do you have a lot of...
You can also attack with Rex Chuds to refresh Xian training.
Ooh. Dirty. Yep, cool deck. Good deck. I like the Fighters for Freedom. I actually don't think I've ever considered running Fighters for Freedom with Rex Cassian. But that seems really good.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I think it's a solid deck. It tends to be a little bit more of like this is a solid, strong, fair deck, but it doesn't have the crazy tempo that the game kind of evolved into at the end of it.
This looks really solid, but just it plays Star Wars. It plays fair. It's not. I mean, you are drawing on Lost Commander, but you're not even drawing 3. You're drawing 2. No Sabine.
Yeah. There's tempting, but it's like I like double casting. I like having 4 allies, and I want Hera. So.
Yep. Okay. Nope. No problems there. I just want to know how, like, running both Lost Commander and pushing back the Empire, those are both pods that really reward you for having that 3rd affiliation.
Yeah, I warmed up to this style deck.
Just run this yellow.
I thought about that. I think the lockdown, I don't know, I wanted to try Fighters for Freedom. Sort of warmed up to this idea because after the winter tournament with the card pool that you selected with the fan-made cards, like their tricolor Rex was all over the place in that tournament.
It really was. And I was
like, okay, let's try Rex again.
I was surprised at how not powerful Rex felt in the full card pool. Like he feels really good, but the dark side's just too fast. You don't have time to get these 8 to 10 card hands with his enhancement.
I've noticed with Rex is like even just with 2 icons, he's such a jigsaw that's like you need to control the board, he can do that. You need to just go in and blow up objectives, he can do that too.
Yeah. The thing about Rex, or the thing about that I just keep hearing, and I love when it happens, is, oh, I was thinking back to this tournament. Oh, I remember when we did that. Oh, remember that deck that we built? What if we built it with the real tools? Like, we've been working with training weights and like, that's one of the things I did with my card pool, is like, I wanted to learn more about money in this game. I wanted to learn more about twist. So I made a card pool with limited money and only one twist. And I find myself thinking back to these wacky decks that we've been making over the year. We've really learned a lot about this game because of these limited card pools, and this really was taking off the training wheels and giving us a new toy. And this is the top cream of the crop decks that have come out of it. It's super cool. But we have John Elf left, or 2 left, 1 left. Oh no, we have your dark side.
We got my dark sides, yeah, and then we have John Elf and Jim.
Okay, I've heard of this list. What is going on here?
So this is the deck that I settled on after I think I played 1 game with a slightly different version. It starts with Emperor's Promise and Enforced Loyalty. It's like stealing units with mission pelp.
Yep.
How wonderful is that? Flinging back damage. That's great. Originally I had like, the other 6 objectives were different, but I was like, okay, let's try this with AT-ATs, Blizzard Assault, Vader's Fist. It's a lot of Hoth. It's coaxium, so it can reliably play mission pelp, turn 2, maybe 3 at the latest.
I'm just gonna pull up Vader's
because
Fist
of the
on side
Navy,
here.
Vader's Fist is super mean. Like flopping Vader's Fist and having them be down to reserve 5 and abilities to like heal that objective.
Takes a card, 2 dorky. You're running 4 of these dorky troopers.
They're fine. They have bombs.
The 4 health 501st Legion.
There's actually like almost nothing in Vader's Fist that I want other than the objective itself.
Really? And then the EUEB heavy repeating blast, so you don't want this? And then the Battle of Hoth?
that tends to be discarded. Like it has bombs to help you push through in your attacks at the end, which is nice, but it's...
Why wouldn't you run Trompers? Like what is going on here? If you really want to,
because flopping Vader's Fist is great.
Yeah, I don't think I've. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've been down to reserve 5, and it feels icky. It feels bad. Not even
Mick, why the 6-4 off split seems particularly punishing if you misread? Do you feel okay if you don't hit your red flop?
Yeah, because you just play all the AT-ATs and such. Like, that's been okay. Like, you can still play your AT-ATs. You're almost guaranteed to have Blizzard Assault at that point. Like, that's sort of the main thing, is that Blizzard's Assault in this deck lets you have huge resource plays.
Yeah, you get those 4 drops for $2.
Yeah, so if my turn 1 is, like, $2 AT-AT coming out and a 501st Trooper or Mythal or any other 2-drop, like that's a great first turn.
Yeah, I had the deck that I dropped
yesterday. It stinks not being able to play Palpatine, but the deck's
the deck I dropped yesterday.
It's reasonable enough without Palpatine.
It was taking advantage of the same thing. I was running both Cassian and Hoth Durlin just to get all those reductions, and being able to play 8 cost worth of stuff on a coaxium list feels so good.
So the big thing with this deck that my Emperor's Promise version can do is I have Enforced Loyalty in it, so I can just block and fling back damage and steal a unit. I also have Aggressive Assault, which lets me volley all of their objectives. And if I'm routinely trying to like get an objective, to 4 damage. see what they deploy, see how they declare their attacks, and then just up that objective and take their unit.
Pay 2, deal 1 damage to each enemy objective. Reaction, steal Luke. Seems good.
Yeah, playing aggressive assault during Lightside's turn has been really mean this tournament.
Yeah, this is a super innocent looking card until you remember things that like Yularen and Mission Palp can do. Ugh, brutal. Also, like these AT-ATs are really good if they're striking to kill an enhancement against a coaxium deck. That means they paid for that enhancement, and it was probably important. The AT-AT assault formation has 3 bombs in shielding, which I'm running DSSDs for that stat line. Like I probably should be running this instead, but I wanted to be on cap ships. Like with the coaxium, bravo! This is just it. The coaxium was built for walkers.
Yeah, this deck would not have been possible without coaxium, but it works really well.
In fact, I like heard about this. I never actually saw your list, but I assumed it was double Vader's Fist. And I'm like, look, if I can't run this because that's a Mick thing. He designed it. He made it up. But I think this is my favorite use of coaxium, is enabling walkers. Any consideration to Endor Gambit? Target?
Not a serious one, because I wanted... So I feel like the core of the Mission Palp deck is Mission Palp and Yularen. And then...
It could go over Vader's
Well,
Fist.
I wanted 6 Hoth with the walkers.
Okay. Alright. I mean, still really good. Hold on.
And it could maybe go down to like 1 Ice
Piet?
Trump or 1 Vader's
You could have run
Fist.
Piet.
Run Piet, yeah.
You're already running Fist.
Piet doesn't have enough bombs. I need those little trooper dorks for bombs.
He has Fist all day. Anyway.
True, yeah, you put fists on him.
Beautiful deck. What's this Imperial
It'll be
Contractors?
fun.
That's draw 7?
This is 7 reserve pilot boba.
Wait, did we get all of the affiliations? Is every affiliation here? Maybe not Mono Smuggler or something? Or Mono Jedi?
So every coaxium affiliation is represented in the pool. I don't think
there's not a lot of
I mean, yeah, we have people playing Scum Navy and Sith. So every affiliation is represented. I don't think we have every combination of
that's super cool.
Affiliation cards.
Double Shizor, double Pilot Boba, Guri, Bubo seems good. Fell, Vader, guarding the wing. This is a fighters list.
Yeah, this is the Pilot Boba
list. Cool. This is cool.
It's I like that I can go down to 1 copy of guarding the wing and put in a copy of cloud cover.
Mm-hmm. That extra stay on target is really good in this list.
Pretty good. The 61-3 is a lot of fun. Yeah, that extra stay on target's fantastic. And then having Hutt's Menagerie for Jabba's summons on Boba is really nice.
Like, bravo.
And one copy of Guri.
Bravo for building 4 ridiculous decks that all seem terrifying. I've never put these combinations of cards together. You're only running 1 coaxium? Amazing. You've just had these in the tank forever.
Yeah, the coaxium was really the only new one. Like I wanted to play the Target of Opportunity deck in an online tournament for a while, and the Pilot Boba deck that was sort of that was a lot of fun when that came out in 2015. Mm-hmm. I like what he can do in 7 reserve now.
Let's see what Jonoff is on. Jonoff, you still here?
Yes, I am here.
You want to talk about your decks, or you want me to talk about them?
I can talk for a moment, and then once Sesame Street is over, then I have to do dinner. So,
all right. This deck is brought to you by the letter Skyhopper.
F for fighters.
F for fighters
or ships. Yeah, I mean the first light side. I'm not looking at the list, but it's the order as that's what I last took to Worlds and Gen Con. It's Skyhopper's great. You play a lot of things with the extra reserve and Doi 4, and you blow shit up. You like don't fight edge battles with Kian if you don't have to.
Command and control Kian is good.
Yeah, command and control. You've got it's just a lot of black bombs and good units and
one Leia.
Yeah, and what?
One Leia.
Yeah. Well, the Leia. I remember when we were working on this, and there were like 2 Dodana, but you didn't want 4 of those Dodana chuds like eating up space. So you get the other twist with Leia, who's maybe she's just a 3-pip edge card. Maybe you get the big refresh play. If you get it, you get the shield off the objective. Like
it's another event for Skyhopper.
Yep. Another event for Skyhopper, and with Doi 4, there's no such thing as a dead card. Right? Dead card is money. So yeah, like that deck's just good. I like it.
Let's talk about this coaxium list. Rebel coax.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this list.
So it's just
yes
coming in with lots of different alternate win conditions.
How did you build 2 fighter lists? This is amazing.
I really want to see you blow up Colby's Death Star. Twice.
Yeah, like it's just fun. Donovan had proposed something similar to this before. It was like something he was like, "Oh, I'm playing with this," and I threw in some modifications, and then it originally had Doi 4, but I need Doi 4 in that other one, so that became B-Wings.
B-Wings are good.
Yeah. Like there were, I thought about like a second Rogue Squadron X-Wings, but I didn't want more of the pilot money. I don't need to stay on target. And it's just like, I was playing Jim with this deck, and I had this weird thing where he was like, he double deadly sighted a light side turn of mine, and I had like a unit after that, and I thought I was dead in the water. And he had Tat Crash between I went after the mission and blew it up because I just had a shit ton of bombs, and that got me. I then used that to pick up Tat Crash, so that got me like 6 cards that he had captured. Plus, I drew cards off Biggs's objective, and if I had drawn a Rebel Assault, I would have won. I didn't, but like,
nice.
Like, there's weird stuff. Sadly, you cannot use Pilot Luke's Fun Bomb ability on the Trench Run.
Yeah, but you can use his 4 icons on the Trench Run.
Oh, sure. No, it's great. I just think it's sad that you can't use the Force on Luke to have him successfully complete the Trench Run. But yeah, I think it's a fun. You just play a bunch of bombs and you're not really sure what you're blowing up. Like I beat I think it was Carlos on this because he didn't defend in. It was confusing for him to defend because he didn't know that I was holding like my one target of opportunity or something. Like he was defending against a different play, and I think I had the mission and Trench Run out, and then some damage on an objective. Like it's just fun. Yeah,
cool. All right, more lists.
Yeah, I've got the
Promise
it's
of
funny,
Power.
I've never thought of that deck as Force Hunters. I always think of it. I like to call it Night. It's got a lot of night stuff, and like Bane just makes it work smoother. Like I think that was
with the abandoned hideouts and echoes.
Yeah,
we all look at this deck so differently. It's amazing.
I know. Like I remember when we were working on this list, back in 2018, I guess. I was on something different on Scum, not Bane, and realized that's just where it needed to be. The abandoned hideouts are crazy, it's got bombs, it's got duel, and
it plays the game on every level, like Xavier says.
Yeah.
Duel is nuts. Duel is nuts. He's still good. What's your Navy list?
So this is just Navy cards I like to play. And I mean,
I like that Callus is in there.
Yes. I love Callus. I like Callus. I like promotion. You know, I know that's both of them have shown up in a couple of the previous tournaments, and I enjoyed playing with them.
Callus has been shadow banned from our tournament ever since Mick put him in the first one.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't realize how good he is.
Right. Well, that was the thing. I looked back at like old decks that I played, and I had the deck with Callus in Navy from that first tournament, and I was like, wait, this deck is good. Why aren't I playing this deck more? Like, what's wrong with this, or what can I add with it? And I thought, and I like playing the walkers, so I figured, oh wait, if I get these 4 walker pods and 6 officer pods. I mean, originally it was 2 Yularen. I mean, we played a game with this, Colby. It was 2 Yularen and 2 Dire, and that was wrong.
Did we play it with 2 Yularen, 2 Dire? I think we did.
Yeah. I just did 2 ofs. Like when I come up with a deck, I try to do 2 ofs as much as possible, and then realize what I want. Like
you wanted Unstoppable Advance. That's the sauce. Like Mick, whoever's playing Unstoppable Advance, Daniel's not playing Unstoppable Advance, but that's the sauce for this tournament. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it's fun. I remember we had that in a previous tournament, and Aggressive Assault again. Like it's not as like I'm not using it to steal units, and it's not as good as like in that previous tournament. I a couple times used it to remove objectives on my side players' turns, and they were
sometimes you just blow up their objectives on their turn so they don't have the resources. That's good too.
Not as big of a deal in this tournament, but it's still good. So you know, I like it, and I think bringing the Tarkin in, it's an aggressive curve. Speaking of aggressive assault,
if you attack with Callus at, let's say, Luke's objective, and you fist or aggressive assault Yoda's objective, does Callus trigger to kill Yoda's objective? Yoda?
Yes, he does.
I mean, and that's good. like I was saying to myself, like, wow, Mick has mission palp. That's terrifying. But like John Elf has Callus.
Yep.
Scary.
I'll take out units. Yeah.
Cool.
I hope I get to play all the decks.
And Tarkin, you and I have a Tarkin mirror match.
Yeah.
Not even close to mirrored, but
right.
We're playing 2 Tarkin and 8 different cards with a different affiliation. Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Jim.
Tarkin's good.
Jim is last, and I can talk. Jim and I have been building decks this whole time together. He's got my light lists. We've been talking all sorts of cards. We've been very concerned with unit counts. We've been very concerned with power level. He was on my rebel list for a while because it was so elegant, and we've been talking about the metagame. We think that the metagame is going to be a certain way. We thought it was going to be a lot of Navy and a lot of mission palp. Thanks to Daniel, a lot of contract hunters, a lot of aggression. And because of that, we ran to familiar strong decks. The Ewok one, Jim has helped me so much building this Ewok deck. We were on the Kyle Chirrut thing together. We went on a journey. I was on 11 card Jedi, and Jim was on his Jedi list, which is similar to mine. He had Leia. We both decided Leia was dumb. We went to Curon. We both decided Curon doesn't work with the coaxium that well. Then we went to the Ewoks because they had more units and better objectives. And this is where we landed. And the Kraken list. We were also looking at Josh's Worlds list, which is just the good ones. It's Rex, Cassian, Vizago, Yoda.
He had a 5-color or a 3 tricolor Rex deck.
Yeah, and we both prefer the Kraken version because it's got a lower cost curve and higher upside. It plays more cards. And Gamma Run over the second Broken Horn because Vizago's kind of a dork, and he's good, but We don't need the card draw as much, and holding the Force early on, which Gamma Run and Yoda do, is actually going to be great. I'm super excited to say no, dials it too. And then Jim's dark side lists are all over the place. Jim should really be here to talk about it. Jim, I'll make him post something in the chat about this deck. This is his baby. John, if you might have something to say about this deck, because I know you play with him a little bit. He runs Dr.
He loves Saris.
He loves Saris. He loves Saris's pod. He loves every card in it.
Deadly Sight's really good.
He is the scariest user of Deadly Sight I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
He will double every event in this deck. He will double Utini you. He will double threat removal you. He will double Spice Blitz, all with Dr. E's objective. He will double duel with the reaction. He will blank everything. Every one of his units is cheap and efficient. He can attack. He can defend. He has spiders. You have to deal with Guri. This deck is terrifying and uniquely Jim. He loves it. I love this deck. Yeah.
Yeah, this Promise of Power deck plays really differently than the Night deck.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an interesting thing too, because they're both Promise of Power decks with spiders.
Jim's board goes a lot wider. If you'd believe it. Just he has the Guri and the 1-drop. He's got the Ewoks. He's got Saris's Chud, which he'll play. He's got good edge. He's got good tricks. He's got the double Dark Lord of the Sith for the double Visage and the double TK Strike. He's got Ponda Baba and Dr. E, which both cost 2. His cost curve is up and down the board, so he can actually blank anything he wants, which is really cool.
Yeah, Jim does these weird things where he also plays turns where he plays like one thing and then has 8 money or some ridiculous amount, and you're like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, no, I'm just gonna play a thing. I'm not gonna attack. Whatever, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And he's got all these tricks, right? Like that's what he does. He loves filling, and it's not just events. It's fate cards. It's Guri. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm. Threat removal, Deadly Sight, double it with Dr. E. It's brutal. This deck is terrifying. I couldn't play it for the life of me. I look at this and I say, this is a garbage pile of cards. And in Jim's hands, it will dismantle you. Because you have to be aware of so many threats he could have. Like the Utini surprises, the Sandcrawler surprises. There's so many threats in this deck. The other one he's running, is this... it's just a mono Sith list. Very similar to Xavier's because oh no, it's not. He's running 1 Similu. I'm gonna text Jim. Someone talk about this deck for 1 second.
There seems to be a lot of Sim-Alu love in the New York meta.
He's mean. He takes your money away. Like I worked hard for that money. Like
Sim's
all
also
the Brothers of the Sith is in this.
He's like a guy that's just really hard to play in normal lists because like he needs to be in a very heavy Sith list. Sith needs money, and Sim doesn't have money, right? So that's just kind of been his thing. But he has like some cool tricks that I think Sith players really want, and like this is your chance to kind of play him.
I actually didn't realize that he was he actually landed on Gork, and the 1 mission palp. Like, there's still 2 missions in here. There's still Fall of the Jedi. Like, you can attack with stuff. Yeah, it's scary.
Gork is cool. That's like another one that I wish saw more play. But again, it's like you just don't have the cash. So he's someone like his event that just neuters an attack or a strike is very good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he has 2 of those. He has first of all, you can't. Luke's not here today, and then when Yoda tries to kill Palpatine, it's like, sorry, your icons don't work. Yeah, I'm excited to see wacky things, and I'm also like, just as an overview, that's the last list. As an overview, we have a really diverse meta. I think Scum is a little underrepresented, but like that's fine. We have ships on both sides. We have characters and events on both sides. We have Ewoks. We have good stuff. We have all sorts of affiliation cards. Like, I'm surprised at how many neutral, like regular affiliations there are. I have felt like I have had options to do all sorts of things with this expanded full card pool. I do kind of like the restrictions of the limited card pools. I still will remind everyone that I was not in favor of the large card pool, despite having loved it and hated it at the same time. I've learned so much by using the little limited card pools, and even on this call, as many times as we said, "Oh, that one deck that I built in that stupid tournament is a really cool thing that has influenced the nonsense that we see here."
Yeah, with the limited ones, it definitely made me think again about certain pods. Like, okay, let's give that a try again in this larger card pool. But I think Coaxium just sort of blew the larger card pool meta wide open as well.
And again, bravo to Daniel for designing it and pushing it, because it made all of these pods that just aren't playable. Because again, you want to put 4 pods in your deck and they don't have money, you can't do it. You made it work. I like it. Yeah, anyone else have closing thoughts? Like, I'm very excited to see what happens with this. I don't know what we're going to do next. I'm sure we'll all talk about it. This was a smaller tournament. There were fewer people. There was like no one in my group. But I mean, we're still getting great turnouts. Like, for a dead game, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's summer. I will say, looking at the list now that we actually have them all revealed, I do regret not packing an Ewok list, just because I was really scared of dark side aggression. And there's more slow lists in there than I expected, right? More mono Sith decks, more of kind of like the slower Promise of Power decks. I mean, Promise of Power is always going to have some speed with spiders.
It's got speed.
But
it's got speed, but Ewoks match up well against it.
Yeah, and that's where I was like, maybe I was, because I was expecting, like, honestly, I'm really surprised that Scum didn't see more play, because Scum has a lot of weird money. And like one of the first decks that I built was just like Jabba plus events deck, right? It was like
Jabba,
2 Jabba,
payout.
2 Guri. I think I threw Dengar in there because
You
he's
gotta
just
run
good.
a Snuva.
Yeah.
Snuva gets you
I
that
think
payout.
I think I was briefly, like, I was looking at a deck. Jolly Roger was playing it, and we were like, actually, this would work fine with Coaxium. It was essentially a deck that existed in the previous summer's limited card pool. It was like that Scum deck with his High Exaltedness, Jasper, BK, Guri, Scum goodness, and you run it in Coaxium, and like it's like, oh yeah, all the
was
money
a really cool
problems
thing.
go away.
Where every time I wanted to build a deck, and I'd say, well, I want Yoda, well, I want a Coaxium, well, I want Spark, well, I want this. I really enjoyed it. I gotta run. But this has been super fun. I'll post this
I'm
online.
excited for the games.
Closing thoughts? Anything? Good luck to everyone. Let the crew battle commence.
Good luck, guys.
It is on.
All right. Bye.
Bye.